Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, April 7, and we are on the 7th of our online presentations in the area of geometry. And today we're going to go over two geometry skills. F1, which has to do with the triangle sum theorem. So in our first bullet here, we're going to be able to use the triangle angle sum theorem to find the value of different angles of a triangle. And then the F3 skill is the use of the exterior angle theorem. So here you will be able to use the exterior angle theorem of a triangle to determine the missing values of angles in the exterior of an or interior, and for that matter, of a triangle. And I want to remind you again that the minimum score we would like to have you achieve here is 85%. So please make sure that you do that, and be aware that this evening the district board is meeting, and one of the things they're going over is what to do about grades going forward. We expect to have some guidance on that tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Okay? All right, and again, I want to remind you that, again, we're online, and because we're online, please use a sheet of paper like this that has a plastic cover to it so that you can write on it. Again, you can do your writing, and then you can erase it with a rag, and that's nice and neat and easy to do. If you don't do this and you guess, at some point you will start to make mistakes, and it will be very difficult to get to 5%. You will get there much faster and more easily if you use, again, paper like this, or if you don't want to use graph paper, you can use blank papers just by turning the paper over. Okay, so let's look at our first example for the day, and the first one is, what is the value of angle A in the convex polygon shown below? So here's angle A, and then we have two other angles showing 53 and 85 degrees are the measures of those angles. This is a three-sided figure, so obviously it is a triangle. And let me pull my note packet here. What do I do with it? I'm gonna find it. Here we go. So since this is this convex polygon is a triangle, we know that the measure of its interior angles is 180 degrees. So we're going to set the sum of the interior angles of the triangle to equal 180 degrees. So let's write that down. Set the sum of the interior angles, and I'll use the angle sign, of this triangle, and I'm going to use the triangle sign, to equal 180 degrees. All right, so we're going to set this up then as, let's see, we've got 53 degrees plus 85 degrees plus A degrees equals 180. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to undo. Now, before we can do that, we have to combine like terms. And in this case, the like terms are the 53 degrees and the 85 degrees. So let's just put those in parentheses, 53 degrees plus 85 degrees, and plus A equals 180 degrees. So if I add these two together, and again, let's not make it difficult on ourselves, just take a graphing calculator. So 53 plus, let me see, turn it on first, Let's clear it. 53 plus 85, and we get 138 degrees. So 138 degrees plus A equals 180. Now we're going to actually undo. So you're going to subtract 138 degrees from both sides of this equation. So you notice this is just ordinary algebra, algebra 1 kind of stuff. Subtract 138 degrees, subtract 138 degrees, and again, use your calculator if you want. So 180 minus 138 equals 42 degrees. So A equals 42 degrees. And so we're going to go ahead and insert that. Now in your online work, they will give you a box to fill it in here. So you just put the 42 degrees down. So whenever you're dealing with geometry figures in IXL, a lot of it is just fill in the blank kind of information. But to do that, you got to go through this process. Now, yes, you could have probably in your head said, okay, 180 degrees is what these three interior angles equal. 53 and 85 is, you figure it in your head, it's 138 degrees. You subtract it from 180, you get 42. But be careful. I would suggest you go through this because these problems get more complex as you go. And you want to be able to get to your 85 score as quickly as you can. And the way to do it is to use all your tools. And showing your work is one of the biggest tools you can show. And the second one is, again, to use the graphing calculator. Okay, let's move on to the next example. So example 2, we're going to use the exterior angle theorem and the angle sum theorem together. So we're going to put these together, see how you can make them work. So here, the primary goal of example 2 is to cover the exterior angle theorem, but you're going to find out that the angle sum theorem it kind of is embedded within the exterior angle theorem, or at least dovetails with it. So, what is the exterior angle theorem? So, the measure, let's write this up here. Exterior angle theorem. And that theorem says that the measure of an exterior angle equals or is the measure of the remote interior angles. So it equals the sum of the remote interior angles of the triangle. Okay, so 57 degrees and 73 degrees, those are the remote interior angles. And of course, the angle 1 here is your exterior angle because it's outside of the triangle. Okay? So now that you've got that information, then let's just go ahead and start to do this. So the measure of angle 1 is going to equal the remote interior angles, the sum of them. So that's got to be 57 degrees plus 73 degrees. All right? So combine like terms. This is easy. So 57 plus 73 is 130. Again, if you need to, take your calculator, take 57 plus 73, and you get 130. So the measure of angle 1 equals 130 degrees. That was the question that we were asking, so this is our answer. Okay? All right, so we're good with that, and you'll notice you'll put it in a little box down here, so 130 degrees. All right? Okay, let's move on then to the last, the B example here. And in this case, we're going to combine, as I said, aspects of remote interior angles and, I'm sorry, not remote interior angles, of exterior angle theorem and the angle sum theorem. Okay? So I'm going to change this up a little bit. I'm going to change this to angle 2, and I'm going to call this angle A. And we're going to say this is the measure of angle A, and then we also want the measure of angle 2. Okay? So those are the two things that we're going to come up with. So to get the measure of angle A, that's the first thing. We're going to use the triangle angle sum theorem. So use the triangle angle sum theorem, and so that would mean we would take the three angles of the triangle and they should equal 180 degrees. So angle A plus 57 degrees plus 73 degrees equals 180 degrees. Okay? Now we're going to combine like terms. So combine like terms. And so 57 plus 73, take our calculator. Oh, we've already done it. 57 plus 73 is 130 because we used the same information from our previous problem. So we already have that in our calculator. We just need to add it together. A plus 130 degrees equals 180 degrees. All right. And so now that we have that information, we want to undo. So we're going to undo. And that means we need to subtract 130 degrees from both sides. And so subtract 130 degrees here, and we're going to subtract it over here. And so then we're going to get angle A's measure equals, so we're going to use the angle sign here and here and here. Angle A equals, let's see, 180 minus 130. Most people can figure that out, but let's just minus 130 should equal 50 if you look at it. Okay? All right, so angle A equals 50 degrees. All right, so we can put that in here. And we know what angle A is now. So now we're going to do the measure of angle 2. So what is the measure of angle 2? Okay, so angle 2 is an exterior angle. Okay, well, the 57 degrees angle and the 73-degree angle are the values of the remote interior angles. Right? So we know, again, this is your exterior angle, angle 2, E-X-T-E-R-I-O-R angle. This is where I need Genevieve Hop to keep my spelling correct. These are our, again, remote interior angles. So we know that the exterior angle equals the remote interior angle. So since the exterior angle equals the remote, or the sum of the remote interior angles, then angle 2 has to equal 57 degrees plus 73 degrees. And we already know that by adding this up before and showing it up above, 57 plus 73 is 130 degrees. So angle 2, the exterior angle, equals 130 degrees. So what I'm trying to show you, it's kind of the yin and the yang of these things. These two particular theorems that I've mentioned work hand in glove with each other, and you can see that it shows when we do the calculations. So there is everything. I think we can fit that in so everybody can see it. That's all my work. It's a little bit off to the side, but I think you've got it all. So that's it for today, and have a great afternoon, and we'll talk to you tomorrow, and hopefully with grading information in hand. Bye-bye now.